This is a continued discussion from the previous episode of Nose to Tail, a podcast where we explore the world of aviation lifecycle solutions, insights, and more. Presented by Jet Midwest.
Maybe give us an idea for people who've gone through their entire career really in one product line. Has there been a piece of that product line that maybe has been either the most rewarding project or maybe is that piece that sticks out to you the most?
I think when we started to get into military, and what we can do is basically helicopters, and we do helicopter floats, and we got to see a little bit a different side of that. We started attending military shows. I'm going to next week. And that, for me, I thought that was a really great thing. My dad was veterans, had lots in the family and stuff. So it was nice to see that and have that interaction with that group that we had not normally done. And then we've expanded that. So it was good to see that product line come on.
So how has the outside sales world changed when you go from a commercial airline perspective to a government-owned military operation? What's the difference?
Well, we change constantly because you're going to commercial airline, you're going to corporate operators, you're going to the onesie-twosie, guy that owns a plane here or just needs that helicopter to fly around his property, which I aspire to. And then you do the military. So it's different mindsets, each one, and you've got to be able to roll right into that.
So are you a pilot?
Oh, God, help me now.
Well, you said you wanted to fly a helicopter, so you're going to need someone else to fly.
I want to do brain surgery, too, but they won't want to do that.
Well, that's good. I've had that done, and you definitely want someone with experience. So,
exactly. Exactly.
So, we often ask the question is to find out what people's favorite aircraft is and kind of why, because everybody's has a different personal opinion. Sometimes it's about the way that their industry or their career has revolved around it. Some people like to talk about it in terms of, this is a great ride. I'd be curious what you think.
Well, I've always used one airline because it's convenient from where I live to get to every place that I need to be. And I'm always happy that it's the plane that takes off and comes back. What the plane is, not a big fan. When I see the guy in the yellow vest get on, my first thought is, well, there's that flight. We're screwed now. Now I'm going to sit here for another 4 hours. So I'm happy about the taking off and landing part.
All right.
Yeah.
If you had a choice.
Yes. If I had a choice, which one would I pick?
If you had a choice, what would you pick?
737.
737.
Yeah. Although I've taken a few flights to Asia on my own for vacation and in Europe, and I do like the reclining, sleeping kind of pod thing. That's kind of nice.
I really, as well, from a career standpoint, the international travel was something I didn't do much of really until about 2013 or 14. And so really it's only been about 10 years. And I, too, have an appreciation for these modern interiors and the amount of investment. I took a flight from Atlanta to Incheon on a A350 the first time.
Yep.
And had Delta sort of three-quarter lean back, which was a great seat, but I really couldn't fall asleep because my legs were still too long to quite fit right. And 15 hours in any airplane, unless you're working on it, is probably too many.
Yeah.
But it's what it takes to get places sometimes.
Absolutely. But again, you talk about everything that has to be done.
Oh, absolutely.
To have the sleeping pod. And did you ever think you'd be, getting internet on a plane 20 years ago?
Right. And watching movies and
exactly.
The in-flight entertainment, huge difference. My first international flight to Europe had no IFE in the airplane. And I was lucky enough that I had my laptop at the time. I happened to have left a DVD, a movie, inside of my laptop. And so I was like, aha moment, and plugged it in, and I had a movie, and no one else had a movie.
Oh.
So people were peeking around the seats, seeing what I was watching. But yeah, it certainly has been good. And I've had the opportunity as well to be on a lot of variety of carriers, and certainly depending on their business model, you certainly get a different kind of interior there as well.
And when you fly a lot and you get those first class upgrades, you'd be shocked who sometimes you're sitting next to. Because one time I went from Detroit to LA, it was me and the entire cast of Jackass.
Oh my gosh.
And I had no idea who they were, except that the little person who was sitting next to me, in my head, I'm just like, don't say little this, don't say little that. And all these guys going, hey, wee man. I'm like, oh my God.
So I would have loved that.
It was hilarious.
And probably would have gotten myself in trouble if I was sitting next to those guys.
Very sweet man.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching one of their movies on a flight from Kansas City to Salt Lake, and I'm watching on my iPad, and I've got literally covering my mouth. I'm laughing so hard, and everybody around me is wondering what I'm holding back. I didn't really tell them what it was, but
Oh no, we've had a lot of funny experiences in first class.
so from your perspective, what's some stuff maybe you want to add to our podcast, or maybe that we haven't thought to talk about that's really important, maybe for people to hear in the industry themselves, or maybe something completely unrelated to aviation?
Well, I think earlier what you said about reaching out to young people, that is such, in fact, here's a different thing. My daughter is head of admissions at a technical school in Lexington, Massachusetts. They have an avionics program in this group. This isn't just kids going for cosmetology and whatever. And they have robotics. There's so much to offer that I don't think our industry is reaching out in the right direction to that age group. Start them in high school so they go to college to pursue that career, and not just in engineering. But there's so many facets, as you just discussed, on the aircraft that they can do. So many different ways to go.
And the career opportunities, especially in North America, are really good.
They are.
There's some really good jobs, and we're certainly in search for talent, especially the technical talent. We're in search for that.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be tough to achieve. We work with the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, occasionally getting their students, and we let them work a flexible schedule so they can go and work from 7 a.m. to maybe 4 p.m., and then they go to class from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Right.
During the week. So trying to accommodate that. But even then, it's tough to find students who really, they still have to be willing to do the job, right?
But you're introducing them to it, and whether they take it or not, you're giving them the opportunity to see.
Well, and they come out after 2 or 3 years, and they get an A&P license, and then we're able to plug them right into the organization.
Right. And they're making decent salary and good jobs. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. So, in terms of company organization at HRD, how fluid how big is the company? What's employee size?
Probably 200 if I look across the board at all the facilities.
So do you guys have lots of opportunities for folks as they continue to grow in their career, where they've got some paths to maybe follow?
That's kind of hard. I mean, mechanic is a mechanic, people doing paperwork, customer service is a whole different thing. It depends on, it's a very niche, and what we do is very niche because we only do safety and survival. So anything oxygen, fire, rafts, vest slides. So there's just that, if they want to move from one location to the other, we can certainly adapt with that. We're trying to grow Texas so it's as big as California, and we're having absolutely the best phenomenal action there.
That's great.
But like anything, it takes longer to get this and that approved and that approved.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the government paperwork holds you down, so it'll get there.
I would certainly say from a Jet Midwest perspective, we pride ourselves on we're in this constant growth pattern.
Exactly.
It's steady growth, but it's constant. And so we constantly have more openings, and we'd love to give opportunities to people who are showing success in whatever field they're in for us. Say, hey, we've got this opportunity. We love giving them that chance to move and create
and
some
to grow.
and they become really well-rounded when they're able to do 2 or 3 different things for us.
Absolutely.
So probably going to wind down unless you got something to add. Let me see here. Let me look here. Okay.
I'm so proud that I didn't say anything you had to beep out.
Not yet. Not yet. It's early still. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
This was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it so much.
No one says that just because you retire, you can't still be out here with us.
I've already got an LLC. Don't worry.
All right. There we go.
Thank you.
Plans. Okay. Now we have a new question.
Uh-oh.
What are you going to do with that LLC?
I don't know.
All right. Next year, we're going to find out.
You may.
I
might be sitting out there watching your next interview.
Maybe I'll just fly to you, and the two of us can sit down and do this again.
That'll work. I enjoyed that very much. Thank you so much.
Well, that's a wrap for today. Thank you to all of our podcast listeners, and signing off from Nose to Tail. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Nose to Tail. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Presented by Jet Midwest.